Nadal responds to Alcaraz for being inspired by him to mount a comeback, if he's already able to think of me. RAFA Nadal spoke about the latest Roland Garros final, where Carlos Alcaraz came back from 2 sets down against Jannik Sinner, during the charity golf tournament The Battle of the Stars in support of ALS patients. For the 14-time champion, it was a historic match and he felt flattered that the Mercian thought of him, if he already has the ability to think of me. The Roland Garros edition that served as a tribute to Rafa Nadal, who retired at the end of last year, couldn't have ended in a better way for Spanish tennis, with Carlos Alcaraz repeating his title after an epic comeback in which he turned around an almost impossible match against Jannik Sinner. A special tribute to the man who won the Musketeers Cup 14 times, and who spoke about the final at a charity golf tournament in Mallorca, where he played alongside others including his uncle Tony. Nadal didn't hesitate to praise a historic match played by Alcaraz and Sinner. It really was a spectacular final, very exciting. In the end, to finish with the cup in his arms, after having been so close to seeing Jannik win it, the truth is I'm very happy for him, said the former Balearic player. He also thanked the Mercian for his words about being inspired by him to overturn the scoreline. Honestly, I haven't seen it, but if he already has the capacity to think of me in that moment, I'm very happy for him. The players who are consistently above the rest, who are proving to be great champions, they should follow their own path. That's the reality. I believe tennis is in good hands in that sense, referring to the generational shift from the big three to the new era led by Alcaraz and Sinner, the 2 most dominant players on the ATP circuit today. The 22-time Grand Slam champion experienced the first edition where he was absent since making his debut in 2005 as just another spectator. For Rafa, it's a joy to see a place that has been very important in my sporting life and just enjoy the tennis. This is my reality, my new reality, without thinking beyond all that, and so he didn't miss playing in the tournament where he engraved his name the most during his career. Wimbledon to award the highest prize money in Grand Slam history. The All England Club will award a record prize money to the men's and women's champions. With the legendary Roland Garros final between Jannik Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz still fresh in the minds of tennis fans, the 3rd Grand Slam of the season is approaching. Wimbledon will be held from June 30th to July 13th at the iconic All England Lawn Tennis and Croquet Club, and Carlos Alcaraz will seek his 3rd crown at the so-called Cathedral of Tennis after winning the title in the last 2 seasons, 2023 and 2024. The London Grand Slam has been played since 1877 and was only suspended during the 2 World Wars, 1915 to 1918 and 1940 to 1945, and the COVID-19 pandemic, 2020. With just over half a month until the 3rd major of the season begins, the prize money for the men's and women's champions at Wimbledon 2025 has already been announced. Specifically, the British Grand Slam will award £3 million, €3.5 million, to the champions, which represents an 11% increase over last year and the largest prize ever awarded by a Grand Slam. To give some context, Carlos Alcaraz received €2.55 million for winning his 2nd Roland Garros last Sunday, nearly €1 million less than what he would take home if he wins Wimbledon for the 3rd time in his career. In total, the All England Lawn Tennis and Croquet Club will distribute £53.5 million, €62.8 million, in prizes, a 7% increase from the 2024 edition and double that of 10 years ago. Additionally, players participating in the first round of the tournament will receive £66,000, €77,500, a 10% increase from last year. The main draw for Wimbledon will be held on June 27 for both men and women. Jannik Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz will attend as number 1 and 2 seeds, meaning they can only meet in a potential final on Sunday, July 13. Carlos Alcaraz and Djokovic in danger. The grass season has already begun, and both the Spanish and Serbian players, along with Lorenzo Musetti, were the top point earners last year. Therefore, all of them will be keeping a close eye on their ATP ranking competitors. The grass court swing is underway with smaller tournaments serving as preparation for the big Wimbledon event. And in this stretch, 2 players are under the most pressure, Carlos Alcaraz and Novak Djokovic. They are the ones who earned the most points last season, thanks to the British Grand Slam. The Spanish player bagged 2,050 points, 2,000 of which came from his Wimbledon crown. The Serbian, on the other hand, scored 1,300, with 1,200 coming from reaching the final. Thus, both the Mercian and the Serb will play under pressure in all the tournaments they enter, needing to accumulate as many points as possible to have some cushion in case they stumble early at Wimbledon. In fact, it's very difficult for them to gain points on this grass swing unless they repeat or improve on last year's results. Carlos must win Wimbledon again and go beyond the 3rd round at Queen's, which is how far he got last year. Noel must, at the very least, reach the final again at the major if he doesn't want to risk losing his number 5 ATP ranking spot. The third highest point scorer last year was Lorenzo Musetti, just behind Djokovic in the rankings. The Italian scored 1,230 points, 720 of which came from his semi-final against the Serb at Wimbledon. On the other hand, those in the top 10 who have the best chances during this swing are Dane Holger Rune, who only earned 200 points, Brit Jack Draper and German Alexander Zverev, who each had 400, and American Taylor Fritz and Australian Alex de Minaur, who both defend 650 points. Ferrero's warning to Alcaraz after winning Roland Garros: remember you're a tennis player? Juan Carlos Ferrero, former world number 1 and coach of Carlos Alcaraz, appeared on El Larguero on Cadena Ser after his pupil's win at Roland Garros, his second title in Paris. The Valencian, when asked about Alcaraz's current whereabouts after such a rare achievement, let out a chuckle. Ferrero's laughter when asked about where Alcaraz is now says it all. Disconnecting, the coach said between laughs with host Manu Carreño. He later spoke about what he told Carlitos on Sunday after the final. Yesterday I told him to have a good time, that he deserved it, and to remember he's a tennis player at all times. We knew these days would come. Ferrero defended Alcaraz again, who had received criticism in the past for his disconnections or how he enjoys his free time. We know how he is, and it works for him. He comes back with a clear head, renewed. It's not even about the word party. It's the disconnection itself, being with friends, not thinking about tennis, being a normal 22-year-old, within his version of normal, and then coming back to work with focus and energy, thinking about what he has to do. Ferrero responded to the criticisms Alcaraz had received. Obviously, people talk about everything. When the documentary came out, we knew there would be some negative comments, especially if he lost. If he had lost here, people would have said go to Ibiza to prepare yourself again. He spoke about Alcaraz's training, adapted to the demands of the ATP Tour. It's not that we train a lot of volume. If the training lasts 2 hours, it has to be of absolute quality. That's more effective than 4 hours of frustration, hitting 1,000 bad balls. I've always thought that way. Especially because of the circuit's demands. The way of training has changed. I used to train a lot more. Double sessions, Masters 1000 and ATP 500 were best of 5 sets, much more wear and tear. Once you realize Carlos has the quality to show up ready at tournaments, I chose quality over quantity. Alcaraz responds to critics: I like to party. But tennis comes first. The crowd at Philippe Chatrier is stuck in a never-ending déjà vu. From Rafa Nadal, the outgoing king, to Carlos Alcaraz, the incoming prince. The Mercians' blow in Paris was decisive, against Sinner, his biggest rival, and in their first Grand Slam final together. He thus claimed his second Roland Garros and is now the second Spanish player with the most Musketeers Cups. This has been the most exciting match I've played so far, no doubt. The match had everything, very good moments, very bad ones. I'm really happy and proud of how I handled it all. It wasn't easy. It's the first match where I've come back from 2 sets down. I don't think there was a better time to do it than in a Grand Slam final, he said after the match. Alcaraz silenced all criticism with his Roland Garros victory, criticism that stemmed from his documentary released before the Mutua Madrid Open, in which he showed his true self. Many saw it as a mistake to reveal his mindset of wanting to enjoy life alongside competing at the highest level. He's not going to win Grand Slams going to bed at 7 a.m., said Bautista. His triumph at Philippe Chatrier is a reflection of the work he and his team have done to reach glory. I don't think it was understood well, said the Mercian about his documentary. I like going out to party, like any 21 or 22-year-old. But I put tennis first. I'm a professional, concluded Carlitos, whose win in Paris supports his words. Here's how much Carlos Alcaraz earned for his Roland Garros victory and what he'll pay in taxes. The Mercian collected the biggest check in the tournament's history, but he pays taxes in Spain, and the taxman will take a large share. Carlos Alcaraz made history at Roland Garros after defeating Jannik Sinner in an epic final that lasted over 5 hours, now considered the longest final in the tournament's history. The Mercian player prevailed in an intense 4-6, 6-7-4, 6-4, 7-6-3, 7-6-2 battle, coming back from 2 sets down and consolidating his place among the greats of world tennis. Beyond the trophy and sporting recognition, the win brings a hefty financial reward, but also a major tax bill. Roland Garros organizers announced that the winners of the 2025 edition would receive a prize of €2.55 million, the largest purse in the tournament's history, a significant increase from the previous year when the singles champions earned €2.4 million. This rise shows the tournament's growth and its gender-equal prize policy. After his win at Philippe Chatrier, Alcaraz earned a prize befitting the sport's biggest stars. However, a large portion of that money will go toward taxes, as is the case for all professional athletes. Even though Roland Garros is held in Paris, the Spanish player must pay taxes in Spain on his earnings. According to estimates published by the tax advisory firm TaxDown, Alcaraz must declare the entire prize in his country of residence, meaning Spain's tax authority will apply a rate close to 47.5%, due to the combined national and regional rates in Murcia, where he usually resides. After applying that tax burden, the actual amount Alcaraz would take home from his Roland Garros win is almost cut in half. Concretely, if experts already estimated that of the €985,030 he earned in Rome nearly half went to taxes, the picture in Paris is similar but on a larger scale. Thus, from the €2.55 million prize, about €1.34 million would remain for the player, while the tax office would collect around €1.21 million. It's worth noting that the tax impact varies depending on the Spanish autonomous community where the athlete resides. For example, if Alcaraz were to set his tax residence in Madrid, the regional tax rate would be lower.